Understanding crystals in healing. I like to share some of the foundations of how we view crystals within healing and why we believe they play such an important role in healing work. One of the first things to understand is that not every beautiful stone is necessarily considered a healing crystal within healing. We believe that a crystal should contain silicon dioxide, often written as SiO2, within its chemical composition. Silicon dioxide is the main building block of quartz and many other crystals used throughout the world. You may have heard silicon dioxide called by other names, such as silica, crystalline silica, or simply quartz. It is one of the most abundant natural materials found on Earth. In fact, the sand beneath our feet is largely made from silica, and quartz is one of the most common minerals found within Earth's crust. Quartz is often regarded as the purest form of crystal because it consists almost entirely of silicon dioxide. Other crystals may also contain silicon dioxide, but include additional trace elements such as iron, copper, titanium, silver, or even gold. These trace elements give each crystal its own unique color, appearance, and physical properties, while still allowing it to remain a crystal. Many other crystals also built upon a foundation of silicon dioxide but contain tiny amounts of additional minerals. These trace elements are what give each crystal its distinctive color, appearance, and unique physical characteristics, while still allowing it to remain a crystal. For an example, amethyst is purple because it contains tiny amounts of iron and has been exposed to natural radiation within the earth. Rose quartz gets its soft pink color from microscopic inclusions of minerals such as titanium, iron, and magnesium. Smoky quartz forms when natural radiation changes the crystal structure of clear quartz, creating its brown or smoky appearance. Citrine occurs naturally when traces of iron are present and the crystal forms under particular geological conditions. Much of the citrine sold today is actively heated treated amethyst, and green quartz develops its green color through the presence of trace minerals combined with natural heating or radiation, although many commercial examples are also heated treated. A good way to think about this is to imagine baking bread. The basic ingredient, flour, water, and yeast, remain the same, but by adding olives, herbs, cheese, or seeds, you create completely different types of bread. The foundation is unchanged, but the added ingredients produce a different final result. Crystals form in much the same way. Silicon dioxide provides the basic framework, while tiny amounts of other minerals influence the color, clarity, and physical properties of the actual crystal. Even though they may look completely different, they still share the same fundamental crystalline structure. People often ask, if so many crystals are made from silicon dioxide, why do they all look so different? A simple way of understanding this is to imagine making a patchwork quilt. You could use exactly the same material, yet by arranging the pieces differently, you could create hundreds of unique patterns. Nature works in a similar way. The same basic ingredients can be arranged differently during crystal growth, producing the incredible variety of crystals we see today. There are many forms of quartz and many different varieties of crystals throughout the world. Some are clear and transparent, while others are coloured by tiny amounts of other minerals trapped within the crystal as it is formed over millions of years. Natural crystal clusters are particularly special because they have grown undisturbed within the earth. Many healers feel that they retain a strong natural energy because they have undergone very little human intervention. Of course, not every crystal sold today is completely natural. Many are polished to improve their appearance, while others are heat treated or even grown in laboratories. They are still crystals because they possess a crystalline structure. Within healing, we often use the term crystallization while referring to laboratory-grown crystals. And some practitioners prefer to work with crystals that remain as close as possible to their natural state. The belief is that the less a crystal has been altered, the more closely it reflects to its original natural qualities. Another interesting point is that salt is also a crystal. We don't think of it that way, but salt forms beautiful crystal structures naturally. It also reminds us that crystals are not something separate from life. The human body depends on minerals every single day, and our organized crystal structures are found throughout nature. From a scientific point of view, crystals are remarkable because their atoms are arranged in highly ordered, repeated patterns. This perfect geometric structure is what gives crystals their unique physical properties. Within crystal healing, we believe the natural order allows crystals to support, focus, and amplify healing intention. When choosing crystals, I always encourage people to buy from a good supplier, learn from the mineral that they are purchasing, and whenever possible, choose crystals that are as natural as possible. At the same time, remember that the most expensive crystal is not necessarily the most effective. A simple piece of clear quartz can be one of the most versatile and powerful crystals you will ever work with. Ultimately, a crystal is more than just a beautiful object. It is a reminder of the incredible intelligence of nature, formed over millions of years beneath the Earth's surface. Whether you approach crystals from a scientific perspective, or a spiritual perspective, or somewhere in between, they continue to inspire awe, curiosity, and respect. Crystal Healing: Choosing the Right Crystal Part 2. Choosing a crystal can sometimes feel very overwhelming, especially when you're first beginning your journey with crystal healing. You search online, read books, watch videos, and before long, you realize that everyone seems to be saying slightly different. One person recommends one crystal, another recommends something completely different, and it can quickly become confusing. The first thing I like to say is this: there is no absolute right or wrong crystal. Within crystal healing philosophy, we encourage people to approach crystals in a much simpler and more intuitive way. Rather than trying to choose a crystal with your mind, allow the crystal to choose you. This may sound unusual at first, but if you take your time and quietly observe how you feel around different crystals, you'll often notice that one naturally stands out. You may feel drawn towards it without really knowing why. You might keep looking back at the same crystal, feel warmth in your hands, or simply have a sense that this is the one for me. We believe this happens because your energy naturally responds to the vibration that is most supportive for you at a particular moment. As your own energy changes throughout your life, you may also find that the crystals you've been drawn to changes as well. A crystal that deeply resonated with you 5 years ago may no longer feel as significant today, while another suddenly feels exactly right. Try not to get caught up by overthinking every crystal or memorizing endless lists of meanings. Knowledge certainly has its place, but it should support your intuition, not replace it. Spend less time in your head and more time listening to your heart. And trust yourself. Trust what you feel. Ultimately, you are the one who gives meaning to the relationship between yourself and your crystal. As you work together, you'll develop your own understanding of what that crystal represents in your healing journey. So don't become overwhelmed by external opinions. Learn from others, but also and always allow your own intuition to be your greatest teacher. In many ways, the crystal you need will often find you long before you realize you're looking for it. When you found a crystal that attracts your attention, hold it gently in your hand for a minute or two. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable and simply notice how you feel. There is no need to expect anything dramatic. And ask yourself, does this crystal feel right for me today? Perhaps you feel peaceful, comforted, energized, curious, or simply happy to hold it. And sometimes you won't feel anything obvious at all, and that's perfectly okay, because your intuition is often much quieter than people expect. If you're shopping online, the same principle applies. Rather than endlessly comparing hundreds of crystals, pause for a moment before you begin. Take a few slow breaths and set a simple intention. I'm open to finding the crystal that is most supportive for me at this moment in my life. Then begin browsing slowly. You may find yourself repeatedly returning to the same photograph or feeling reluctant to scroll past a particular crystal. Always trust that instinct. Even through a photograph, many people find themselves naturally drawn towards certain crystals. And the important thing is not to overthink it. If your mind starts saying, but this book says I should have amethyst, or someone online said rose quartz is better, gently return to your attention to how you feel. Within crystal healing, we believe that your intuition is one of your greatest guides. Knowledge is valuable, but your heart often knows what your mind is still trying to work out. And the crystal that chooses you may not be the one you expected, but is often the one you most need in that moment.